Every service business owner has one, or at least had one. The customer who calls too much, expects too much, pays too slow, or somehow always has a complaint. And most of us took that customer anyways, knowing this because we needed the work. What if I told you the most profitable thing that you can do in your business is to learn to spot a customer like this before you even sign a contract with them? One bad customer can consume more time than five good ones. A high maintenance client, they'll kill morale, burn your team, and really eat your margin. Most business owners only fire bad customers after it's too late. So the goal isn't to avoid difficult work, it's to avoid difficult people. And you're not just selling a service, you're choosing who you spend your time with. And as the business owner, you get to choose. Choose wrong, and you'll pay for it. I have what I call a crazy girlfriend story. So it'd be a crazy customer story. Lady calls wanting a lawn cleanup, and then after that was a continual landscape maintenance property, full thing. And we went out to do the cleanup, and the property was already out of the way, which was a red flag. But you're always optimistic, hoping you get more in an area, trying to expand. So I went ahead and went out there, and the way she communicated felt off, but I didn't catch it early. And she did a pretty good job of hiding her crazy, I guess you'd say. So I did that first small job, and she seemed happy. And then the next day she called me. I was debating on doing it. Then she called back and complaining about the guys and stuff. And so we went right back out that day and fixed stuff that she thought was a concern. And I decided to pass on the maintenance contract. After that and our last interaction, it kind of showed her cards, so I backed off. And so I ended up later talking to her on the phone, and I told her I wasn't going to be able to do the maintenance contract, and we're still several weeks out before we have to start mowing weekly. And I gave her two or three names of my friends who are in that area who don't mind working with crazy. And she seemed okay. And then 30 minutes later, she called me back, and she was kind of verbally attacking me. And this went on. And she wanted to know why I didn't want to do the work for her. And I was just, ma'am, it's just out of the way, and it'd be best if I didn't. I was trying to keep it minimal, and she was just going nuts. And then finally got off the phone with her, and my young helper, he could hear her yelling and hearing what I was saying, and he goes, "Man, that sounded like when I broke up with my crazy girlfriend last week." And she showed her hand of crazy early, and all I could think was, I was so glad that I broke up with this crazy girlfriend, before she became a real problem. So I got 10 red flags that so you can avoid the crazy girlfriend. Some can't be seen early, but once you start to see these signs, you need to break up. Uh, One of the red flags would be maybe just a geographic problem. Like this lady was out of the way. That's not just logistics. It's margin, it's distance, cost, time, fuel. And if the reward doesn't match the reach, it's a bad deal. Sometimes, the distant ones make sense, but in this case, it didn't. Second red flag, you can read the person's energy. And, with her, something felt off how she communicated it. But, I was wanting the work as early on, and, I didn't trust my instincts. But, things to look for, are they rude or condescending? Experienced business owners, they're able to develop a gut feeling of catching this before the contract is signed. Whereas new business owners, they override the gut feeling because they want the job. Red flag 3, the reaction to no. A reasonable customer, when told that they're not a right fit, says okay, thanks, and moves on. A high maintenance customer, a crazy girlfriend, they'll attack you. basically because you have standards. And that reaction was the confirmation you don't owe every customer a yes. And the ones who punish you, for a professional no, those are exactly the ones you can't afford to say yes to. Fourth red flag, this lady didn't do it, but if they squabble on the price, or if they want you to break down materials and labor, or they offer to buy the materials, usually that's early sign. I just cut bait with them. I say it's this price for me to do it, and this price for me not to do it. I'm just out. Some will even say, I have multiple projects, and if this one goes well, I have you do them all. And they only do this so you hoping that you'll come in cheaper, and then, of course, when they do the next project, they're going to get another bunch of contractors to play that game again. And so if someone says that now, I usually say, well, I can bid on all these projects now. And if you sign with me, we can do a contract for all of them, then I'll offer a discount. And I've never had one take me up on it. And, but that's because they had no intention on using me. They wanted to play the game of trying to find the cheapest contractor. Red flag 5, if they disregard professional boundaries, texting, calling outside of business hours, which sometimes that's okay, when you think of it in the middle of the night, but if they expect instant responses, that's a big red flag. Red flag 6, despite hiring you for your expertise, they question every decision and they refuse to let you lead. So basically they micromanage. Red flag 7 is unnecessary urgency. If they call and need something done quickly, I automatically turn it down. Lack of planning on your part doesn't create emergency for me. Red flag 8, refusal to respect the scope. They frequently ask for free work. I had a lady that I worked for once. She seemed fine, finishing up, and she said how much, and I gave her the price, wrote the check, handed it to me, and soon the check was in my hand. Oh, while you're here, can you haul off that too? And of course she was expecting a yes, and a yes to do it for free. So red flag number 9, and this obvious one, if you've already committed with them, they complain about everything. They call back over minor issues. They're slow on paying. I don't work for those type of people anymore. Red flag 10. This is probably one of the biggest red flags. If they mention their history of bad partners, if they complain about other service providers that they've used, in this case, the common denominator is usually the customer. They probably have all the red flags that I've mentioned. We had one lady, she pulled this red flag out early, but my salesman thought that maybe we could be the company that could help her. She had a leaking rotted window, and we told her that she's only addressing the symptom and not the issue. She had a bad roof, rotting siding, and she pressed that she wanted that new window, so we installed it. The guys worked late to get it done, and we did it in one day, and the lady complained the whole time, complained that we're there late. And then that night it rained, and water leaked in near that window. And she blamed it that we installed the window incorrectly. So we went back out the next day to address it, and we caulked up half the side of her house, trying to eliminate any places water could get in. And showed her again that you got a roof issue, you have a gutter issue, you have rotting siding. And after we did all this, that night she gets online, anything you could write a review on, Google, Angie's List, Yelp, anything. She wrote a negative review about us. And, I responded that you hired us to fix a symptom, a rotted window, but you ignored our professional evaluation of the true problems of your home. And luckily, I'd found other bad reviews from her that she's done to other contractors who basically said the same thing that I was telling her. So I linked to those negative reviews, really just showing the type of crazy she is. And, but it still didn't help. Those reviews linger forever. So, knowing what I know now, if someone says that, they've had issues with past, contractors and stuff, I just cut bait with them immediately. So if a new customer calls and it doesn't feel like a good fit, or if you work with them and realize that it's time to get rid of them, here's some tips of getting rid of the crazy girlfriend. Always offer them referrals. Pass them on to someone who could be useful. Just don't drop them. Keep it professional. Never personal. You don't have to explain your decision. I don't think we're the best fit for this. That's a complete sentence, and that's all you need to say. The goal is to part ways, leaving them with options and not a grudge, even though if they're crazy, they're probably going to hold one. So the way you fire a bad customer says as much about your business as the way you serve a good one. Every hour you spend managing a high-maintenance customer is an hour that you're not spending with the right ones. Your time is your most valuable business asset. Spend it on people who deserve it and appreciate it. I'm Brian Hill. If you like this Bible-based business content, be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.